was the first capital of the Colorado Territory. In the early days, it was known for its saloons and brothels.
Colorado City had all the vices, 24 saloons at that point. They voted themselves dry. We're starting a new town specifically for selling alcohol.
They named their new site El Dorado. Miners don't get rich. People who sell things to miners get rich. That's where Jim shot Pat. That was the busiest street in town. This was a Wild West town where people got shot in the street and everything that implied. You're in a Baptist church. This is where the saints live.
I heard that the state of Colorado got its name from Old Colorado City. Is that true?
They named it after the red rocks we have around here. Colorado, which is a Spanish word for red.
There were 11 underground tunnels for anybody who didn't want to be caught going to the saloons or brothels. I am standing in the heart of Old Colorado City. It was the first capital of the Colorado Territory. Today, it is a national landmark.
We carved the stone. We built this town with hands alone. Through fire and rain, we made our way. The heart of hope won't fade away. This is the land where the wild still sings, where the past and the present hold everything.
Make sure you check out Bancroft Park. There's this historical building here.
The soul of the brave and the land of the free.
During the Pikes Peak Gold Rush, this town was a hub for the gold miners. In the early days, it was known for its saloons and brothels and its lively atmosphere, which was typical in a frontier town.
This ground we stand our legacy. This is the land where the wild still sings, where the past and the present hold everything.
Let's go visit the Old Colorado City Historical Society and learn about the history of Old Colorado City, as well as pick up some guides with some information on the local shops. I'm gonna ring the bell. Hi, Barbara. Thank you for meeting with me today.
Thank you, thank you. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So, Barbara, what is the Old Colorado City Historical Society?
Our society actually is sort of the anchor of the history for this area, and we have this lovely museum that is focused on exactly that. And so we're a very special niche right here.
And it has a lot of history in here to tell.
It does. Our old church was built in 1889 as the first Baptist church. For 100 years it was a church until we bought it actually for the museum.
It's beautiful. I love it here. So tell us about Old Colorado City.
Well, by the turn of the century, into the 1900s, then the city was pretty much splitting between the Wild West part and the Victorian part. The Victorian part was when this church was built. The Wild West was on the south side of Colorado Avenue.
Okay.
And the city was splitting around alcohol or no alcohol.
Oh.
And the old part was the part that had the historic red light district and the working man's. This side had higher moral values.
Okay.
And so it was very much a family-oriented side of town. But it had to come to a head. So in 1913, the town took a vote.
Okay.
Now I have to remind everyone, Colorado Springs up to that point had no alcohol being sold. Colorado Springs and Manitou Springs were tourist towns, started for religious reasons, had no alcohol sale.
Okay.
They may have had wine for dinner, but none being sold. Colorado Colorado City had all the vices. So 1913, when they took a vote, a dry town or a wet town, alcohol or no alcohol, they voted themselves dry. No more alcohol. So 3 towns do not have alcohol.
Wow. I didn't know any of this.
We had as many as 24 saloons at that point.
Right.
So the saloon keepers were all out of business. There were about half a dozen who said, no, we are going to the edge of town, we're buying the land, we're starting a new town specifically for selling alcohol. In the town of Ramona, which if you walk up the street, it's only about 4 blocks away.
Oh my God.
So they started the town of Ramona. But let me put this into numerical sequence. That was 1913. 1916, Wild West, Colorado, the home of cowboys, free thinking, voted itself dry, the first state to vote for prohibition. And our federal prohibition wasn't for 3 more years.
Oh, wow.
So they were all out of business. All these saloon keepers, the red light district. So without all people wanting to come here for alcohol, Colorado Springs annexed Colorado City, and Colorado City didn't exist anymore.
Okay.
So from 1859 to 1917, this was the center of all the activity.
Wow.
Very important town.
That is very important history. Now, who can tell us about the beginning of the history?
Thorman Hussett. Thor is here. He'd love to tell you.
Awesome. Can't wait to meet him. So, Thor, how was old Colorado City related to the old gold rush?
Well, it was a part of the gold rush that failed. You've heard of Pikes Peak or bust.
Yes.
All right, they're all on the wagons.
Yep.
They're all headed for Pikes Peak. They're all going to find a lot of gold. All right, a party came right here. Right here. They named their new site El Dorado,
Oh.
the City of Gold. That was the
Okay.
first name of this town.
Okay.
They named it that because they were fans of Edgar Allan Poe. There's a poem Poe wrote called El Dorado that ends with, "To the mountains of the moon, through the valley of the shadow, ride, boldly ride, if you seek for El Dorado." Pikes Peak up there is the biggest mountain any of the Easterners had ever seen. And to get there, you had to go through the valley of the shadow.
Oh.
And they all went, "This is it." It wasn't it. There was no gold.
No.
There was never been gold.
No.
There never will be gold. So one of them, or actually 2 of them, they were the smartest members of the party. They said, miners don't get rich. People who sell things to miners get rich.
Oh. They were
Let us
thinking.
build ourselves a town.
Okay.
They're going to have to go through here to go up Ute Pass to get up into South Park and find the gold. In the meantime, we will sell them donkeys, we'll sell them picks, we'll sell them flour, we'll sell them wine, women, and song, and card games, and all that implies. And that was working great until the Civil War came along. And then they couldn't come through anymore.
Oh.
And we went into, what does Isabella Bird call us? A decayed little neighborhood on the edge of the prairie. But then they discovered gold locally up in Cripple Creek. And they shipped it all down here by the railroad that they built.
Oh.
And we processed it.
Okay.
And this town was a boom town. It wasn't just a little town that sold you everything you wanted in the way of wine and ever that. It was a big little town, 22 bars. Or they argue. Some say 22, some say 28, some say 19, but there's a lot of bars across the street, all in a row.
Yes.
That was the bad side of town. That's where the sinners lived. You're in a Baptist church. This is where the saints lived.
Okay.
And there was an uneasy dichotomy going on for years and years and years. But back in the earliest days, back when I like to think I was the marshal of the town, this was a Wild West town where people got shot in the street and everything that implies.
So one of those like in the movies.
Yeah. But even then it was kind of a strange one because the guy's name was Pat Devlin. He was a bad boy.
Well, the last name Devlin, of course he was.
He was from County Tyrone in the town of Dungannon in Ireland, where he had been a bad boy. And he came to America and he went to Kansas, where he was a badder boy. He was a jayhawker, one of the ones that fought with each other before the Civil War.
Wow.
In fact, he coined the word jayhawk. It's a fake Irish bird that goes into nests and steals from the other birds. Pat was here. He was being a bad boy, and he had a deal going with a supposed friend of his named Jim Laughlin about the use of their ranch, and it's complicated. But anyway, Pat got mad at Jim and said he was going to kill him.
Oh, no.
So he got good and drunk, and he told Jim, "I'm coming to town to kill you." And Jim going, "I don't have a gun." Pat says, "You better get a gun, because I'm coming to town to kill you." So Jim came to town, bought a gun, waited for Pat. Pat came swaggering through town, good and drunk, hollering, "Jim, come out here." Jim stepped out, said, "Morning, Pat," and gave him both barrels of a 12-gauge shotgun, which did not kill him.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, well, he was taken to the doctor's office, and Jim was arrested and charged with murder. Remember that Pat's not dead.
Yeah.
Jim is tried by basically, in those days, there was no law.
Right.
So the jury was a collection of what was called the claim club. And they were in charge of all malfeasances. So they tried him, and they voted. The jury was everybody. There were maybe 200 people in the jury. If you wanted him to be guilty, you walked to one side of the street. If you wanted him to be innocent, you walked to the other side. Well, the majority there decided that Jim was perfectly within his rights because A, he said, "Morning, Pat," thereby announcing his presence before he shot him. And B, nobody liked Pat. And C, Pat wasn't dead.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
Jim walked.
And is this what we looked like back in the
This
day?
was the town in mid-1860s. Yeah, that was the whole town.
That was it.
In fact, right here,
Wow.
right about there, that's where Jim shot Pat,
Oh my God.
because that was the busiest street in town.
Oh wow. What a great history.
That's what this whole place is all about. That's just one of the many strange stories of stuff that went on here. But that was the earliest.
Yeah.
That was in 1861. And that was even before the Civil War broke out.
So I heard that the state of Colorado got its name from old Colorado City. Is that true?
That's absolutely correct. You remember I told you that it started off as El Dorado? Well, then when there was no gold, they decided, nah, forget that. So they named it after the red rocks we have around here, Colorado, which is a Spanish word for red.
Okay.
So this became Colorado City. And it became, well, actually, it's the reason the state is named Colorado. Because when the people here went back east to petition that it become a territory, some of them came from right here. And they said, "Colorado territory, named after us, because we're the first city." And everyone, okay. So they did. In fact, for a while, a brief shining moment, we were the capital of Colorado territory.
That's amazing history. I love it.
They met right here. Unfortunately, there was one place to meet. It was a local boarding house. And the proprietor, Mrs. Lucy Maggard, used to make her guests go get their own firewood and things like that. And the legislators were not amused. And they said, "This is a rotten place to have for a territorial capital. Let's do something else like, Golden maybe, or Denver maybe." And it ended up being Denver finally,
Oh.
which is one of the reasons why, just like we have a problem with Colorado Springs, we have a problem with Denver. We were first.
Love it. Best in the state. Well, thank you for having us today. This was great history. I really enjoyed it.
Purely a pleasure, ma'am.
Thank you for coming. We
Yes.
enjoyed it, and I hope people will come and visit us.
Yes, and it's a free museum.
Yes.
It's true.
The place quickly grew as a place for trade, commerce, and settlement. Today it's known for its mix of eclectic shops, art galleries, and restaurants. leather muffs. And on this little chart here, it says that this used to be the Waycott Opera House. Yes, one student. There's numerous locally owned cafes and restaurants and this ice cream shop. I love dining in this cute part of town. There's so many options available for everybody. So I'm here at the Squash Blossom, and as you can see, this is a locally owned business in Old Colorado City, and there's lots of artists here. And once a month, the first Friday of the month, Old Colorado City does host an art walk. You can grab this brochure. It gives you a map of all the businesses hosting the art walk. It's a lot of fun, and you can meet the local artists. In the past, there were 11 underground tunnels going from this side of the street to the other side of the street. It was used for anybody who didn't want to be caught going to the saloons or brothels. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Colorado Wild Adventures. See you next time.